Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Arc podcast. Today, we're going to be talking everything football from college to the pros. So if you enjoy this content, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below. I want to know your favorite college team and NFL team. So without further ado, let's jump right on into this. So to start off, we'll start with college, then we'll move to the pros. College football. We got to talk about the issue with the playoff matchups and everything like that have been developing because the college football playoff is expanding constantly, right? And it's the debate of who deserves to get in. Now, this year, two small schools made it, and then the other, teams that made it are typically, SEC, ACC, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the two small schools, we have Tulane, who technically was ranked 20th in the country, and we have James Madison, who was ranked 24th in the country. The big issue I have is these small fish can't compete with the big fish. Now, I know what everyone's thinking. They need an opportunity to finally thrive and shine and everything like that, and I get that. But they're trying to mimic the idea of upsets happening in college football, just like they do college basketball with March Madness. The only issue is, one, typically, college basketball games can be played a lot closer together than college football games, as in they're only happening weekly versus, every other day you're playing pretty much for March Madness. Number two, March Madness has 64 teams. College football has top 12. So that already is an issue in itself. I mean, you can't be putting small fish in this big pond when there's only a limited amount of spots. When there's 64 teams, sure, you can put the JMUs and the Tulanes in there. But genuinely, as of right now, obviously the Ole Miss game, and when I'm recording this, the Ole Miss game just finished. So it's the Ole Miss beat Tulane 41-10. No one wants to watch that. I mean, there is no one in the world picking Tulane to beat Ole Miss. The only reason people would even consider that is because Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin moved on, OC moved on, right? But still, I don't care if I wouldn't even care really if the starting quarterback for Ole Miss got injured. If the backup is in, I'm still choosing, because Ole Miss filled with 5-star, 4-star, 3-star recruits. Tulane not filled with 5-star recruits. Right? Same thing with JMU. They're currently down 13-3 in the second quarter against Oregon, which, sure, cool. It's a close game, and maybe it'll end in a close game. It's just not something that people want to see, especially if we were to go to the college football rankings. Top 25, right? The top 10 made it, pretty much, in Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama, Miami. And then you had the two small fish, Tulane and JMU. Outside of that, people that were upset that they didn't make it, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, Vandy. I mean, I would throw Utah in that mix too, but that defense was pretty rough. Now, as far as those other schools, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, Vandy, all four of those schools would put up a way better fight than Tulane and JMU, because we would all rather see Notre Dame play Ole Miss and, let's say, Texas play Oregon over JMU and Tulane. Now, one thing for Notre Dame, if they want to, they got to stop complaining, because if they want to be a big fish, you got to compete in a big fish conference. That's that simple. I understand why Notre Dame didn't make it. Put yourself in with the top dogs. Play in the Big Ten, play in the SEC, play in the Big 12, something like that. Play in the ACC even, so that you play genuine competition year in and year out consistently. It's similar to the argument I have for Gonzaga in college basketball, where they're the toughest team to genuinely debate on where they'll go in the playoffs, because they play teams like San Francisco University every year. It's like, put yourself in a big conference. Notre Dame, though, if they had made it, I do agree they would put up a bigger fight than Tulane or JMU. So those top 25 teams, the committee needs to come to a decision that we need to expand even more. Now, the idea behind that, obviously, you need time because time is of the essence. So I'm thinking all teams played 13 games. What if we cut the season to 10 games? That gives you 3 more weeks, which can add way more teams to this playoff. Also, so each team has this 10-game record, which, Oklahoma only played 12 games. Most teams played 12. Some played 13 if they went to their conference championship, whole 9 yards. Also, I don't understand the point in even having conference championship games if they don't matter, right? The argument of Bama, a lot of people debated that Bama shouldn't have made the playoff because they lost in the conference championship, but the committee said that game doesn't matter. So I guess in theory, all that would, why, if you're a team like Georgia and Bama that played against each other in that championship, why would you even play your starters? What is the point if it doesn't? I would just put in my third strings and just let those guys rock out. And because you would avoid injury, you would avoid, if you lost, who cares? Because like the committee said, it doesn't matter. Bama made it. I think there needs to be teams that, I understand losing, how they could be you would just almost lose games prior to that because there's more weight of a loss in a championship game versus not in a championship game. But there's no point in even competing in it because I'm genuinely surprised that Georgia and Bama even played their starters. Now, I think a win in the championship game should have a lot of weight, but a loss, not necessarily. I kind of, especially since every team doesn't necessarily get that game, you can't really put too much weight on a loss because, for instance, Texas A&M didn't play in the championship game. How can you, they get almost a leg up in the competition because they didn't play in that championship game if a loss matters that much. So how you fix the college football playoffs is I think you go down to a 10-game season. They're already only playing 12, 13 games as is. So why not go down to 10 and then you expand it 3 more weeks of college football playoffs. Now the math there, I'm not entirely sure what the math adds up to, and then what if you were to do games on, let's say, Thursdays and the following Friday or something like that? Or I guess it would be Saturday and Wednesday. Just like how college basketball does, you play one day, you have one day off, you play one day. It would be a shorter window than the week break that you have. You'd still have a break, right? Saturday to Wednesday gives you Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You'd have 3 days off. Now, playing a football game with only 3 days in between is tough. And I would assume coaches, athletic directors, etc., would probably argue that the injuries would increase with less time in between. Now, also at the same time, we have to assume that the college football playoff, right, has, let's look at the college football playoff selection bracket and all that. The national championship is, January 9th is the semifinals. And then national championship is a week away from there or 2 weeks away from there. So it's mid-January to late January, I think is what it is. Now with that, you got to think I just think you could possibly extend it that much more. Just before, even if you have to blend with the NFL playoffs, I think that's okay. Now, would that attract viewers away? I think that people love a weekend where it's both footballs are going on at the same time, right? When you can flip Saturday, you're watching college football, Sunday, you're watching NFL football. And let's say it's Friday, you're watching college football playoff game 1. Then Saturday, you're watching a different college football playoff. So, for instance, right, January 1st, we're going to have the teams that had byes will play their first week. So, like we assume Oregon's probably going to beat JMU. So Oregon's going to play Texas Tech. Bama just beat Oklahoma. They're going to play Indiana January 1st, right? Ole Miss just beat Tulane. They're going to play Georgia January 1st. And then Miami upset Texas A&M, so they're going to play Ohio State January 1st as well. So, like if you were to put 2 games on that Friday, 2 games on that Saturday, and then NFL football Sunday, elite weekend. Like elite college football, elite football weekend. And that's jam-packed. Fans are going to love it. I think, like, who wouldn't want football every day? And then you have Monday night football right after that. You have a 2-day break, Thursday night football right there. And then a week later, you have the playoff semis. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. If we were to extend the time that goes into the playoffs, kind of meeting with the NFL, and maybe what college needs to do is kind of work with the NFL in scheduling games to where Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday. I don't think they're putting playoff games on a Monday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday is all football all day, where maybe you have Friday night, Saturday morning college football playoffs, Saturday afternoon/night, and Sunday all day NFL playoffs. Like that jam-packed weekend, nonstop football, seems like the average fan would love that. But I think we got to figure out a way to get away from small fish until, like, I want to see a college football playoff fully without the small fish, just to see how that would look differently compared to what we've got now, right? Like, because, yeah, JMU and Tulane, let's be honest, they're not as good as Notre Dame and BYU, or Notre Dame and Texas, or Texas and Vanderbilt. Like, you can't tell me that those guys are as good, and they're not going to put up as good of a fight. Now, yes, maybe, I mean, it's already 20-3, second quarter, 9 minutes and 30 to go, Oregon over JMU. And it's just like, I understand the idea behind it, but no one wants to watch that, bro. Like, shout out to Tulane and JMU for making it and all that. But I also don't understand what is the point in the top 25. What is the point in the top 25 teams in the country if Tulane, JMU make it over teams way ahead of them? I'm not even talking like maybe a spot or two. Like, I would understand why a Michigan or a Virginia who are 18 and 19 don't make it over a Tulane. Sure, 2 spots. But I'm talking Notre Dame is the 11th seed in the country. BYU is the 12th team in the country. Texas, the 13th. We're talking 7, 8, 9, 10 spots away. And they're not making it over a Tulane or a James Madison. That doesn't sit right with me. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And you see that there's a huge gap in all these teams. So, and one other discrepancy that there is with the college football is teams not wanting to play in their bowl games now. Because they're like, oh, like, why are we going to play in these bowl games? They mean literally nothing. I kind of understand that. Like, why would you? But at the same time, you could say that same thing before the college football playoff even existed. Sure, you could. But, and it's a little petty for a team that barely missed out to then, go on and not play in their bowl game. But, because then you're going to have the same argument whether you expand it or not. So I would just be interested to see what would happen if we did like the top 24 teams in the country. That way, the top 25 makes total sense to have. So you do the top 24 teams. So then you'd have like top 24 would make, let's say, 4 number ones, I think that would be. So you'd have, just based off this, you'd have Indiana playing JMU, and then you'd have Ohio State playing Iowa, which there's a rivalry right there, which is pretty darn cool to see right off the bat. Georgia would play Georgia Tech. There's a little bit of a rivalry there. Texas Tech would play Houston, a rivalry there, and then so on and so forth. Oregon would then play Tulane, which probably would be a domination, whatever. Ole Miss would play Virginia. Say whatever you want about that game. Texas A&M would play Michigan. Like, we would see an interesting aspect of that. And we would get more college football and more entertaining, more tough college football games where, yeah, Arizona would play Oklahoma. Alabama would play USC, something that we don't really see on a day-to-day basis, or, but we still get the rivalries that meet up. Like, in the middle would be like, what would that be? BYU would play Texas. That would be pretty darn cool to see. Like, I like that idea if you expand it to 24 teams. And I understand they're getting there. They're getting to the point they're ironing everything out. It's just I think us fans want it sooner rather than later. Just like we are spoiled with college basketball. March Madness is peak. That is peak playoff. It's one game, win or go home. I love it, right? It is a full entire month of just great college sports. I think they just need to add that to college football. And that's why you shorten the season, but you extend the playoffs. An extra 3 weeks of playoffs could potentially make this astronomical. I think that's huge. But anyways, let's transition over to the NFL, because like I was talking, the NFL, college football, if they were to get together and discuss, like, yo, let's not butt heads and have games really going on at the same time, not too much overlap. You can have a little bit, that's totally fine, where some games end right when others start, whole 9 yards. That's cool. Not a problem. But I want to talk about the NFL standings, because right now, technically, only one team in the AFC has clinched, and it's the Broncos. And it's kind of crazy to think about that, like, theoretically, yeah, it's technically the Broncos have, versus there are 3 teams in the NFC that have clinched: the Seahawks, Eagles, Rams. Now, you guys have known on this, I think I said it on this channel, the Rams are my Super Bowl prediction, which is crazy because they're a 5th seed right now. Now, yes, they do have to play Seattle. That's going to be a huge game, deciding factor between both teams, because Seahawks are 12-3, Rams are 11-4. That's going to be a great game. Now, if the playoffs were to start today, the Broncos would have a first-round bye, and so would the Seahawks. The Texans would play the Patriots. Now, what's interesting about this game is the Texans are really starting to come alive. Patriots have been kind of clicking on all cylinders for a while now, but the Texans' defense is disgustingly good. Like, it is led by Will Anderson. Danielle Hunter's over there. Derek Stingley is locking down. He is finally getting healthy and being good. Like, on the offensive side of the ball, it is finally starting to ramp back up. We're seeing signs of CJ Stroud getting back to CJ Stroud. Kind of had a rough start to the season, genuinely. Was looking like the Texans may have just had a fluke of a rookie season out of him, but now it's really starting. And I think what this shows is, one, you shouldn't give up on your QB way too early. There are some QBs that, yes, you can definitely, like, I think J.J. McCarthy, I think the Vikings are out on. I don't think he's the future. I think that you got to move off the guy. Yes, I understand he's had very few starts in the NFL, but the idea that he, to me, doesn't even show great signs that he has got it, right? I mean, let's take a look at CJ Stroud. His rookie season, he was showing signs that he's got it. It makes sense. And we all know sophomore slump is a thing. And J.J. McCarthy is not having a good rookie season. Yeah, maybe a few years from now, he's got this like Sam Darnold-esque thing to him, or Baker Mayfield-esque thing, where it just takes a longer than, a Bryce Young-esque thing, where it just takes a little bit longer for him to develop. But if you're the Vikings, Jay Jettas can't be happy right now. You have an elite offensive group with Jettas, with Jordan Addison there. Hawkinson is there. Decent running back group with Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones over there. The defense needs some work, but I think overall, you can't be happy if you're Jay Jettas, and you got to keep Jay Jettas happy because he's a top 5 receiver in the NFL. This season, definitely a down season because of QB play. I mean, he's had freaking J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz throwing him the ball. But yeah, if the playoffs were to start today, the Texans, who I don't think they're a Super Bowl contending team, but they're a team I wouldn't want to face in the first round. Playing the Patriots, which I think the Patriots would squeak out this win, but I think it's going to be kind of an ugly, and I think it's going to be a huge wake-up call for the Patriots that they're not as great as it may seem. Especially the way they played against the Bills, where they had that big lead and then they just choked. It's important for them to dominate the Texans, just for a confidence booster out of them. Now, the Texans, it's clear as day you need to work on that O-line. That O-line needs a lot of work, and that's why if you have a young rookie QB, and the Commanders are in the same boat, it is extremely important you invest heavily into an O-line that'll protect him. Because look at the Commanders, where Jaden Daniels can't stay healthy to save his freaking life. He's injured every time he touches the field. He's just like Jackson Dart with the Giants. They need to protect their QB, and they're not doing it. The Patriots, they invested in that O-line. They went and drafted Will Campbell. They spent money to protect Drake May. The Texans, I think they'll figure it out. I don't think this year is the year. I think maybe next year if they invest in their O-line in the offseason. But this season, hopefully they put up a good fight, good playoff game against the Patriots. After that, you got Bills, Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are kind of fake good. I know that people are thinking at this point in time Trevor Lawrence is underrated. I don't think so at all. I think Trevor Lawrence has had his time to shine. Yes, he had a good week last week, but I don't think it's a consistent thing I don't know if they can handle the Bills. I just don't. I don't think in a playoff sense. One, I think Josh Allen's too good. He's, top 3 in MVP voting. And I think the Bills just kind of manhandled the Jaguars. Yes, they lead the league, or they're one of the top teams in takeaways. I think they're actually number 2. But I think the Bills kind of dominate them. And then in the AFC, last but not least, Chargers would play the Steelers. This game, I want to say the Chargers walk away with this one pretty smoothly, because I think the Steelers, I just don't love their offense whatsoever. The defense, I think, is overrated as well. I think the Steelers are known for having such a good defense, but every time you look at their schedule, they're playing teams that they're scoring 30 points on them. Let's see. I'm just going to the games right now. Let's click on the Steelers. So Steelers games. Yes, 15 for the Dolphins last week. Week before that, 22 for the Ravens. The Bills put 26 on them. The Bears put 31 on them. Then, they stopped the Bengals to 12. The Chargers put 25. The Colts put 20. The Packers put 35. The Bengals put 33. There are a string of games here. Even the Vikings with J.J. McCarthy put up 21. And that's not a ton in today's NFL, but I just think that the Chargers, even though their O-line is beat up, Omarion Hampton's going to be back. That's going to open up the field. Justin Herbert's going to get a little healthier with that left arm, or left hand. It's going to get healthier and healthier week by week. Don't give him time to get healthy because it'll get scary. Let's jump over to the NFC. And actually, we'll finish the AFC, then we'll move over to the NFC. So then that leaves us with the Broncos, Texans, Bills, Chargers. I'm predicting 3 upsets in the first round of the playoffs. No, 2 upsets, because I have the Patriots. Sorry. Broncos, Patriots, Bills, Chargers left. What team do I think out of the 4 of those comes out? Although they're 10-4, I think the Patriots are like a year away. I still think they kind of need to upgrade a weapon or two. I don't love the receiving core there. The Broncos, same thing. I think they need better receivers. I like Cortland Sutton. I just think he's a number 2. I think they need a dynamic number 1 receiver. Like if they went out in the offseason, they got, I don't know, a Garrett Wilson. They went and they got, if they would have gotten Devontae Adams, if they go out and they go get a Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins, something like that, where a dynamic receiver, even if they get into the A.J. Brown sweepstakes in this offseason, I think that could do numbers for them. And I think the Patriots are the same thing, where if you go out and you go get a dynamic number 1, I think that helps this offense so much more. So I don't think those two teams are ready. So that leaves me with the Chargers and the Bills. And I think the Bills although the Bills probably have the worst roster here, I think Josh Allen has so much weight to what he can do on the field that he will carry this team and he elevates players. It's similar to Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs. He elevates players around him. Now that he's gone and he's hurt, he's going to be out for the rest of the season, if not most of next season too. The Chiefs are clearly done for. They're already statistically eliminated, but there's nothing to play for really. So Gardner Minshew's going to rock out, but you're going to see probably some low-scoring games out of these Chiefs the next few weeks. And I think, the Bills, I think they just kind of walked their way. The Broncos, they're going to be a tough loss. Like they're a tough team to beat for sure. The best defense here, but the offense scares me. And last year when the Bills met the Broncos, it was an abomination. I thought right off the bat, the Broncos had like a 70-yard bomb. But right after that, the Bills woke up and they're like, oh, wait, we're the Bills. We have Josh Allen, MVP candidate. Let's talk about the NFC. The Seahawks, first round bye. We have the Bears playing the Packers. This game I actually love for a first round matchup. I hope that this happens. So the Bears, I every week want to say that the Bears are overrated, but they keep squeaking out games. And this being a rivalry game, I think this is genuinely like a 50-50 toss. I think Micah being hurt affects this team so much more for the Packers than I think we realize. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout. It's going to be some like 28-31 game. But I think the Bears take this game because I think Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, they finally look like they're getting comfortable together. And yes, Caleb, he's going to be like a Josh Allen, like a Patrick Mahomes, where they're going to make plays or even throw Jameis Winston in there as well. And I understand those three don't really line up, but what they all do in common is they make these plays that are either going to be very boneheaded plays or they make fantastic plays. And it's one or the other. So you're either going to be a terrible interception or it's going to be threading a needle that is just an insanely thrown ball. And Caleb Williams has that like demeanor to him where it's like you're either going to make this bonehead play or you're going to make a dramatic, like insane play that we're going to see on the ESPN Top 10. He's got these flashes, and I'm hoping it can carry out to the playoffs as well. And it's in Chicago also. I think that's huge. I think home field, big thing. So I think the Bears take this one in Chicago. Next game after this, Niners, Eagles. This probably the best. This is going to be a good game because the Niners are like very sneaky, flying under the radar because the NFC West is so stacked with the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Rams all making it. I just think that the Eagles just scream toxic, messy. I don't know. I don't love what's going on for Philly. I think they squeak out of round one. But it's not going to be a good game. It's going to be an ugly game. The Niners, though, if they lose this, they got to make some big decisions because, like, Mac Jones obviously going to probably walk and go get some money. Do you keep Shanahan around right? What do you do with this offensive line? Robert Saleh seems like he's getting this defense going, so you definitely keep him. Do you promote him to head coach, though, or do you just go out and get somebody else? With the Eagles, though, if they don't win first round, there's some things that got to change here. Like A.J. Brown's, even if they win this first round and then they lose after that, A.J. Brown's probably out the door. If they don't win Super Bowl, A.J. Brown's out the door. And I don't think that they can win the Super Bowl. I don't know if they can compete with a team like, I'll get to the team that I'm going to be raving about. But as far as the Eagles go, it's just like Saquon doesn't look nearly what he did last year, and that was expected. I definitely expected that because he was somebody that you just put in so much from the tank last year that you're just running on fumes this year. It's just that last season probably took so much out of him. Now, do the Niners have a shot? Absolutely. I think the Niners have a shot. I think this is going to be a close game. It's going to be an ugly game. It's going to come down to which QB makes the most mistakes. We've seen Jalen Hurts make a handful of mistakes. We saw him have a 3-4 interception game just a few weeks ago. Brock Purdy, he's still, I don't know if he's actually a future franchise QB. I just can't get a good read on him. I don't think he is. I think he's a system QB that plays very well when he's got the perfect pieces around him. Like he would be perfect in like Minnesota's offense, the Niners offense, where they have so much around them. But if you ask him to elevate a player, if you put him in the Bills offense, the Chiefs offense, if you put him even the Steelers offense, something like that, he's not going to be doing well. Right? He would do very well. If Shanahan gets fired, they should look at somebody like Mike McDaniel because he's an offensive coach. They need somebody heavy offense over there. After this Eagles game, though, then we have the Rams playing the Buccaneers. And the Rams, they are the most, I would not want to play this team at all. I would hope to avoid them at all cost because I think the Rams are the best team in football. I think the corners need some work, but I think the defense, they put so much of pressure on the QB, and I think the offense is so explosive. This week, they didn't have Devontae. Puka went off. They've got Kyron Williams is slowing down, but you have Blake Corum who's just taking reps, and he's playing well. Matthew Stafford, MVP candidate. I think he's my MVP of the year. He's had one bad game, and it was against Carolina. We can forget about that game. Everyone's going to have one bad game. Josh Allen had a stinker against Miami. So, and I just don't think the Buccaneers defense is good at all. So the explosive offense combined with the Buccaneers' terrible defense, the Rams are going to score 40 in this game. The offense of the Buccaneers looks not good. Genuinely, it doesn't look good. And you've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Emeka Egbuka. People are starting to figure out Egbuka. Now, that's fair. He's a rookie, though. I think he'll be fine with his career moving forward. I don't think that the Buccaneers offense is going to be able to compete with that Rams defense, though. I think they're going to get to the QB way too much, and they're going to make Baker uncomfortable. Now, does Baker ever get uncomfortable? Sure, you can make that argument. He might not. But overall, I just think that he's going to be swarmed. Jared Verse getting to the QB quite well, quite easily. I think that the Rams handle them. So after that, we have the Seahawks, the Bears, the Eagles, and the Rams moving forward. And like I said, I don't think any team can compete with the Rams. In a playoff scenario, Puka and Devontae, scariest duo in the league, for sure. They have so much, like there's a lot of playoff experience already right there. Devontae's been to Super Bowls. Matthew Stafford's been to Super Bowls. Like, that is scary in itself. I think the Seahawks will compete the toughest with them because I don't think the other two teams will, but so you probably have like Seahawks, Rams. That'll be the closest game, but I think the Rams handle business. They go out, they make it to the Super Bowl, and they play the Bills. Rams, Bills, Super Bowl. And I think that the Rams continue on. They win it, no doubt. They would be who I would put my money on. I think Matthew Stafford wins finals. He wins Super Bowl MVP, wins the MVP of the league, whole 9 yards. They look way too dominant. Because the Bills, like if the Rams and the Bills play each other, the Bills defense cannot compete with that offense. I think the Rams are going to be able to score at will. So I think it's genuinely going to be a shootout. Because I think Josh Allen's going to be able to put on a performance and be able to get the receivers bombs, especially since the corners of the Rams aren't that good. And that's the only way a team beats the Rams, is I think if you can have these big pass plays that then open up the run game for a guy like James Cook. So, or even an Eagles team or a Seahawks team I see like Sam Darnold struggles when there's blitzes. He struggles with blitzes. So is he going to be able to handle the blitz that's going to be coming from him? Jared Verse is going to be in your face. Can you get the ball still to Jackson Smith and Jigba? That's what I don't think that happens. And then with the Bills, like I think Josh Allen's good enough to handle that pressure. So I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be some like 28-27 Super Bowl, because you don't see too many high Super Bowl scoring games. But yeah, I think overall that's what we see. It's going to be a good game, good Super Bowl. I also want a Super Bowl like that. And who knows, maybe we see that dad strength out of Josh Allen come alive, and Josh Allen really carries the Bills to win a Super Bowl. But I just don't see that. I think the Rams handle business just kind of like I was talking about. So this has been another Beyond the Arc episode. Let me know in the comments what you guys agree with, disagree with. Again, I do want to hear about your favorite college football team and your favorite NFL team in the comments down below. So without further ado, it's been another Beyond the Arc episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.